There is nothing like a day in the world. There is nothing you can name that is anything like a day.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Baked Alaskan. I'm pouring one out for the homies early so that Remy leaves me alone. This one's for GM and CF, man. So, Carrie Fisher had a heart attack on an airplane, an 11-hour flight from London to LA. There was little information about what happened on the plane, but it is known that she was found not breathing, and they administered CPR for at least 10 minutes while they were landing, or as they were landing. She was apparently revived and brought to hospital by the paramedics, where she was in ICU. There were conflicting reports that said that she'd been downgraded, and then her brother said no, that's not true. But they wouldn't say what was wrong. Now, I had always believed that she hadn't really survived the airplane intact, if you know what I mean. And I think the worst thing in the world for Carrie Fisher would be to come back as a vegetable or somebody with less control over their wits, as she was probably the brainiest, quickest-witted person. And I think that would be a horrible, horrible fate, and I'm glad that didn't befall her. However, today she passed away, and I'm very upset by this. I'm doing this on Thankful Thursday because I want to share an experience with you. I actually met Carrie Fisher about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember. No, it's all a blur. I went to Fan Expo in Toronto, and she was a guest. She did autographs, she did photos, and she did a 2-hour lecture. And I didn't do the photos, but I got an autograph, and I went to her lecture. She's just she was an amazing human being. I don't know if any of you know beyond her Princess Leia thing, or even if you know Postcards from the Edge. A lot of people don't even know that she wrote that. She did. But she also was a outspoken heralder of mental health, and in particular bipolar disorder, which she also suffered from. She was frank about her use of drugs and alcohol. She was frank about her use of ECT, which is electroconvulsive therapy, shock therapy, to control her depressions. There's so much that I owe my own advocacy of bipolar disorder to Carrie Fisher for. I never owned it until I mean, that's not true. I owned it from the minute no, that's not true either. They told me I was in denial. And then I read every book I could get my hands on about bipolar disorder, and then I owned it. When I finally owned the fact that I had bipolar disorder, I owned bipolar disorder. I read every book, literally. And there aren't that many books. I mean, and there should be more, is what I'm trying to say. Let's get in here again. Lost my train of thought. But she's always been very frank about her. I've got a birthday candle here. Her illness, even when people haven't wanted to ask her about it. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like, just be right there. Be real. Be up in their face. And if they can't handle it, then that's their problem. So, this is my 2 minutes with Carrie Fisher. I purchased an autograph ticket, or I got a ticket to be in line to purchase an autograph ticket. And she was there 2 days, I think, Friday, Saturday. And I got one of these. And actually, this is the one that my wife got. She got one too, just to make sure that we got one. And they actually took mine when I got to get an autograph. Now, so that's kind of cool that I have one, because otherwise I wouldn't have that either. This is, I believe it's Carrie Fisher's first book. I don't know if it was published first, but when I read this book, I was in high school. And, I mean, let's see when it was published. Why can't I find the date? There it is. October 1991. First printing. Now, that was the year my mom was diagnosed with brain cancer, believe it or not. And maybe that's why this book is such a touchstone to me. I was heavily into soap operas at the time. And this book is about a soap opera actress who's just nutty as hell. And it's been a long time since I read it, but basically she's trying to get her ex-husband back, or she's mad at her ex-husband, and there's just this whole sex thing, and it's funny. It's a great book. It's called Serena of the Pink, which I'm sure you can get the reference. Yeah, I read it at a really rough time in my life, and it always stuck with me. So when I had the opportunity to meet Carrie Fisher, after I found out I was bipolar, and I had read her other books as well, and her speakings on it as well, I wanted to meet her and tell her how much she changed my life, and I wanted to do it with this book. I didn't want to do it with a picture of Princess Leia in the gold bikini, like the 50 guys in the line behind me. I wanted to do it with something so personal. And when I walked up there, she smiled, and I smiled, and I was so nervous, and I said, "Hi, Miss Fisher, I'm a really big fan. I know you hear that a lot, but I really just want you to know how much you've changed my life, and how much your work with bipolar disorder has really affected me and encouraged me." And and then I slid this across the table. "Would you sign that for me, please?" And she smiled at me, and then she looked down at the book, and then her smile changed. And it was like it was like a sad smile, but a parent smile. Like, that's my baby, like, this was her first book. Can you imagine? Um, so to see this again over the 50 gold bikinis, like, that just, I just wanted to do something nice. Like, I didn't want to, you know, compound the issue. But this book meant so much to me, and she signed it. And as she signed it, after I said what I said, she looked up at me and she said, "What do you got, kid?" And I said, "Bipolar disorder." And she said, "Ooh, that's a tough one." And I said, "Yeah." And we both shared this knowing, just this knowing glance or moment that we shared. And she said, "Keep fighting." And I was ushered off. And that was my 2 minutes with Carrie Fisher. And you know what? It was probably 2 of the greatest minutes of my life. She really touched me, and I know that there are many, 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 many people in similar situations as me that she also touched. She's so much more than Princess Leia in the Gold Bikini. So much more. And I really hope that she's remembered that way. Because what she did alone with, like, script doctoring in Hollywood, like Postcards from the Edge, there's so much really stuff that doesn't get credited that she was responsible for. And she's going to be really missed. So today, on Thankful Thursday, I want to say I am grateful to have known Carrie Fisher for 2 minutes. Thanks, everybody. Be well.